Hello. Socialisation is a hot topic just now, what with people having to stay in and socially distance. But socialisation isn't just about being sociable. It's about a whole lot of other things. It's just a word we use. And the window closes at about 14 weeks old with the puppy, so it's a very important thing to get right from the start. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at what exactly socialisation really is, why we need it, and then how we go about it. And that includes what we can be doing to get our puppy socialised and habituated to life while we're in lockdown. Okay, so socialisation and habituation mean really becoming happily familiar with things, and that can be people, it can be anything really. So literally socialise means just mixing sociably with others. Habituate means to make or become accustomed or used to something. So that's more what we're doing, and that will include people and other dogs. It means really getting used to absolutely everything that they're going to come across in their new world. It can be anything from a falling leaf to a siren. It can be anything, our body language, different people, the microwave beeping, everything is new. So you just imagine that you came from another planet and here you were in our world and everything was new. It's going to be an overwhelming world of different smells, different sounds and different sights. So that's what we're bringing our puppy into, unless he's very fortunate to have had a very good breeder who's done some of the work for you. Okay, so that's what it is. The next thing is why. We need, the harder we work when the puppy is young, the less trouble that puppy is going to find life becomes later on. The fallout from leaving it too late is that then he enters a period where things, negative associations stick. So Dr. Ian Dunbar, he believes that safe socialisation to people should be taking place in the first few weeks with extreme urgency. And he says the critical period is between 4 and 12 weeks of age. That's how he feels. And if we had introduced the puppy to many new people who all treated him gently and did it right, then we would be avoiding an awful lot of the problems we get later on. I probably would be out of a job. I won't be out of a dog, out of a job. So most aggression issues, certainly towards people, even more simple things like problems on walks where the dog pulls, gets wildly excited and maybe wants to either play with other dogs or wants to protect himself from other dogs. It's going to be because simply they're not used to all these things, probably not used to the outside world being a good place. It's not been started young enough. And in a lot of cases, this can't be helped, of course, because we don't get the puppy until it's far too late and probably rescued. And maybe it's come from a world where everything it knew was either negative or else it was ignored. So that's that is why we do it, and that is why the shelters are so full of dogs, why so many dogs are euthanized, and why people like me have our job, which really is rehabilitating if it goes past the puppy parenting stage. So it's start early, and then the outlook for that puppy's life and your life with the puppy is going to be a whole lot better. Now, I suppose the thing you really want to know about is how. The first thing I would do is to make a checklist, imagining that, as I say, you're on another planet. What are the things that puppy is going to encounter? I have here a list from the Pet Professional Guild, PPG, and it's really long. It does everything from men with beards, talking loudly, fireworks, touching his paws, people with hats, goes on. It's all different things, different smells, bicycles, cars, loads of things. Now, on your list, there's no point putting elephants if he's never going to encounter an elephant. So I would make a list of the things that he's likely to encounter, and that is by way of smells, sounds, and sights. Okay. Now then, the next thing is to deal and work on exposure. Exposure really involves him being aware of the thing, but at a distance or loudness or intensity that he's not worried. He's in his own safe zone and he can hear this thing or sense this thing. And then from that safe zone, that thing can then be paired with something he loves. And I would say food. So, for instance, if he looks slightly alarmed at the microwave pinging, immediately chuck him a bit of food. Very soon he'll take notice of the microwave pinging. Start easy. Start in the house. Start with all the little things which are around him, and he'll soon gain confidence and then gradually increase his boundaries, which will mean getting into the outside world, which of course is going to be a little bit more difficult now. Now we're in shutdown, but it's not impossible. So the thing I would say is, if you push puppy too fast into situations he can't cope with, you're going to actually do the opposite of what you want to achieve. So socialization, I don't know if there's a word of anti-socialization and anti-habituation, but what you're actually going to do is make him worse with those things. So then, before puppies gets to live, or when as an older dog live happily, these things have to be addressed and rehabilitated. The harm has to be undone before it can be improved. So too much scary and not allowing the puppy to go at his own pace at a distance he feels safe. So we should have an escape route. As far as new people and most new things, let him initiate the approach. So people shouldn't be coming over him and picking him up and putting big hands over him and looming over him. He should be allowed to choose. So the most important thing really is not to overwhelm him. And then when he hears or sees or smells anything new, make something good happen. So the same, if it is about things like touching him, if get him used to having his paws touched, a brief touch, maybe let him lick some peanut butter off your hands and so on. An example is of what to do if puppy, once you've done these things in the house, looks really scared of the outside world. Well, don't take him out into the outside world. Have him at the doorway. Maybe sprinkle food around just outside the door so he begins to think, oh, that's nice. You can even put it there before you open the door so he finds it. And as you stand in the doorway, listen to the world, listen to the sounds, throw food at him, feed him, make them and do it in very small sessions and gradually build him up. The worst thing you do is to force him out into the outside world. What a lot of people think socialization means is literally flooding puppy, taking him out and exposing him to all the things that are on the list close and hope he just gets used to it. Well, I don't think that is going to it's not going to make him into a confident dog, and he's got to trust you. He's got to feel safe. So this can be done. The time you put in now is really worth it. So the other thing just to bear in mind is that if unpleasant encounters will really colour his life, and that is particularly so after about 12 to 14 weeks when he enters fear periods, and then if something really happens then which is bad, like being attacked by another dog, then that can probably have a lasting effect on him. So all experiences should be good experiences, and none at all is probably better than bad. Well, it is definitely better than bad experiences. So this is about working hard now on habituating and its limitations in lockdown and what we can do in the first up to 14 weeks, which of course is an age when a lot of dogs still have only just been able to go out, having had their vaccinations. So this actually applies to everybody, because this good puppy parents start working on habituating and socializing from the moment they get their puppy in a very gentle way. Don't leave it till puppy can go out. Now, here are things that you can do. I've made a little list. First, get him used to household items like vacuum and hairdryer, and watch for any wariness. And if there's any wariness, immediately put him into his safe zone. For instance, vacuum cleaner, if he's terrified with that, I would say you need to be introducing it stationary, then perhaps move it about without it switched on, then turn it on, and gradually, it depends how nervy and jumpy the puppy is. Some dogs are bomb-proof, and you're just lucky it's in the breeding. Right, so that's household items, getting used to the things in the house. There'll be all these sounds like fridge suddenly turning on and off, or honestly, you've got children, you've got them running around. You've got lots of different things in the house to get puppy used to, and always try to keep at the intensity, the volume level or distance that he can cope with, and gradually increase it. Right, so while we're shut in, we are allowed, I think, to go and sit in our cars. We could probably go and sit outside in our car and watch the world go by, feeding puppy as we do. We can also get him used to moving traffic. We can go for short car rides, probably. I'm not sure how the shutdown rules are in your area, but probably we're allowed here in the UK to take our dogs for one walk a day. So we could stand outside. We could also put our dog in a sling, or just hold him if he's little, or even put him in a buggy and walk him around and let him gradually get used to things from a comfortable distance. Children, a lot of dogs who are not puppies, especially those who haven't ever seen children, find children quite scary or overexcitable. And again, it's watching children, keeping at a distance. If the children, you can tell them, if at the moment we can't have them coming and touching puppy because of the shutdown rules, but if it's if it's in your house and it's your own children, get the children to hang back and invite puppy over. He'll make friends quite quickly. There are also some good soundtracks you can get download with different sound effects of all sorts, all the outside sirens, traffic, horns, lots of things like that. And I think you can get them on Spotify. You can probably download them. It's certainly there on YouTube. And following along that, you can also use television. Use television with other dogs and other animals, and make sure that every time an animal comes on, that you pair it with food. If it's alarmed, turn the volume down. Work on all these things. Now, another one is for you to try to look like different people. I mean, if you have a dressing up box, maybe put Halloween clothes on, or walk around with a hat. Use a walking stick. Use dark glasses. Maybe also change what perfume you wear, or make yourself just smell a little bit differently. Even things like bin day can be they're very alarming to older dogs, but I will be sure that if those dogs have been habituated to the bins being moved about from right from the start, from a distance and volume that the puppy could cope with, and paired with good things, that the older dog would probably accept bin day much more easily. Well, that's it really. It's about the importance of having socialization or habituation, becoming familiar with everything in the world early enough. And then as time goes by, you really have to keep it up. I've been to people who have lived in London, and the dog is from a puppy used to all the noises. They've come and lived near me, which is quite quiet. In a few months' time, they start to get very noise jumpy. And so, it has to be maintained. And the other thing is the whole thing about generalization. If your puppy is absolutely fine with, say, your 2-year-old, it doesn't mean to say that he'll be fine with another 2-year-old in another place. He may be fine in one place watching traffic, but maybe not in another. So be prepared for these things to erupt somewhere else. Anyway, so it is important. It's important to give our puppy lots of brilliant, lovely experiences early on, so that he's a bit bomb-proof for later in life. Bye-bye.